There's really been some massive Cyberpunk, Witcher, and CD PROJEKT RED news over the last few weeks and months, so in today's news dump video, we'll be going over just how many people are working on the next Witcher versus the next Cyberpunk game, release windows of these games, CDPR's new secret IP, hidden content still not found in 2077, how CDPR is looking to evolve The Witcher 4 over the third installment, Witcher and Cyberpunk mobile games, the Witcher Netflix series, new Edgerunner's lore, and so much more. Kicking off this episode, CD PROJEKT RED recently had their FY 2023 earnings report, where we were updated on the latest development split between the two franchises of The Witcher and Cyberpunk, and the progress of both upcoming games thus far. We have seen some similar graphics of CDPR's current pipeline, but here we get some project stages of each of the developments. Let's start off at the top with The Witcher, with 3 Witcher titles in the current pipeline. The Witcher Polaris, otherwise known as The Witcher 4, is currently in pre-production and is being developed by CD PROJEKT RED themselves. Notable members of this production team are Cyberpunk 2077's Philip Weber, Miles Tost, and Sebastian Kalemba. Just so that we can all further our own game dev knowledge, pre-production is the phase of development which focuses on creating core concepts and writing initial design documents that describe the future game. Pre-production phases help to cut the overall production time and streamline the processes, and can include the core concept, including the pillars of the game, key gameplay mechanics and target audience, the monetization strategy, proof of market size, how progression will be introduced in terms of new mechanics, events and gameplay aspects, planning the team responsibilities and pipeline, and even creating prototypes. Speaking of The Witcher 4 specifically, we've already heard from CD PROJEKT RED that Geralt will not be the focus of The Witcher 4. You might have seen a recent Portuguese article floating around that mentioned that The Witcher 4 would take place before the previous games, but I did want to point out that this was a mistranslation by this publication, and all we currently know is that it will be the first entry in a new trilogy. That being said, CDPR themselves have said that The Witcher 4 won't be, quote, The Witcher 3 in new clothing, and that they will be adding new gameplay elements and new mechanics to the RPG. For me and a lot of others, The Witcher 3's gameplay wasn't awful, but it didn't match how great the rest of the game was. And with Cyberpunk 2077 receiving a fantastic gameplay overhaul, filled with unique abilities and options, hopefully enhancing The Witcher's gameplay is going to be a focus going forward. The Witcher 4, as we know, also features the School of the Lynx on the tentative cover, and will be the first CDPR game utilizing Unreal Engine 5, instead of the now dropped Red engine. So some big changes are on the horizon. Getting back to the pipeline, we have Project Sirius, a project developed by Molasses Flood and supported by CD PROJEKT RED, currently again in pre-production. Early in 2023, production for this spin-off game set in the Witcher universe was reset, and there was some speculation that it might be cancelled, although evidence was pointing to the fact that it was being re-evaluated and not axed entirely. Job listings in the past have hinted that Sirius could potentially be open world, and feature co-op or PvE, with a prior senior level designer opportunity mentioning, quote, driving the creation of spaces set in the Slavic open world of The Witcher that support telling the story of this world while supporting a rich palette of gameplay systems. Experience in, quote, building for multiplayer was another trait being sought by the studio. If you guys were curious, the Molasses Flood is a studio under the CDPR umbrella located in Boston, and they have created games like The Flame and the Flood and Drake Hollow in the past. Moving on, we have the original Witcher remake, currently being developed by Studio Fool's Theory and supported by CD PROJEKT RED, currently in the concept stage, the first stage in game development preceding pre-production. You probably haven't heard of Fool's Theory, but it is led by former Witcher developers. CEO and co-owner Jakub Rokos spent 5 years at CDPR between 2010 and 2015 and helped ship The Witcher 3, and design director Karolina Kuzio-Rokos spent around the same time, also working on the second and third installments. The studio as a whole has 60 developers and have worked on prior titles like Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity Original Sin 2, Hellblade, and Outriders. The Witcher remake will be a modern reimagining of the original and will use the toolset CDPR is creating for the new Witcher saga. Fool's Theory has gone on record to say that they are not afraid to remove aspects that are bad, outdated, and need to be remade. And I think this is a good philosophy to have. No one wants to play a clunky mess for the sake of nostalgia, so hopefully a more modernized approach will help more people appreciate the origins of The Witcher. Moving on, we have the Cyberpunk section of the pipeline, and we have Orion being the focus for everyone involved. This is currently in the concept stage and is being developed by CD PROJEKT RED. And yes, it seems like the team is already all settled in Boston and has begun work. Really not much to say here, but if you're looking at the pipeline thinking that you've been slighted as a Cyberpunk fan with only one thing in the queue, do remember that we will be getting a live-action Cyberpunk show or movie from anonymous content supported by CDPR writers. and that there are books, board games, and comics coming out all the time. So if you're craving more stories in the dark future, then expand your horizons and check these out. Next we have the new IP currently codenamed Hadar. This is developed by a team within CD PROJEKT RED and is in the IP conceptual phase. Hadar is a new IP built completely from the ground up and not relying on a source material like The Witcher does with the Sapkowski novels or Witcher does with Pondsmith's pen and paper universe. We still don't really know what Hadar is all about, but I was speculating and messing around on Twitter about what it could be and where the IP could fit within the dark future and dark fantasy. This was retweeted by joint CEO of CDPR Michael Nowakowski, taking a jab at my completely unfounded theories, mentioning that the game is definitely not a cosmic horror game set in feudal Japan. Although now that he's combined my two theories, that does sound pretty damn awesome. Anyways, not much is known about Hadar, so I'm curious to hear your completely blue sky theories in the comments below. So all in all, there are 627 developers currently at CD PROJEKT RED, with 403 working on The Witcher Polaris, 47 working on Orion, 37 working on Sirius, 20 working on Hadar, 17 on Cyberpunk 2077, and 8 on other projects. In terms of release dates, a question was asked on a Q&A with CDPR devs, asking if it was reasonable to assume a development time of over 3 years, to which President Adam Kaczynski mentioned that, quote, yes it is. So we could be seeing Witcher 4 potentially in 2026-27 and Orion a few years later. This is probably being on the optimistic side, but all in all, lock in for a bit of a wait for the new entries. Within the same Q&A at this investors call, a question was also asked about interest in licensing out the IPs to make mobile games, to which Michael Nowakowski responded with, quote, yes, we are considering such a move, and quote, in fact, we were pursuing through conversations opportunities like that. We have nothing to announce just yet, but when the time comes, we would. Now, The Witcher Monster Slayer was released in 2021 and I got a chance to beta test it, and I think it was a decent first attempt at a Pokemon Go styled game. It's been shut down now, but I'd be open to any new mobile games that are maybe a bit more story versus gameplay trend driven. Moving on to Cyberpunk 2077 specific news, it seems like more content could still be coming to the game after CDPR has repeatedly said no more updates to the game even before the massive patch 2.1. During an interview on the Friends Per Second podcast, 2077's game director Gabe Amatangelo mentioned that, quote, it really comes down to how the focus is working on the sequel for Cyberpunk. And as opportunities present themselves, if there's like a little something, low-hanging fruit if you will, and someone on the team is passionate about it, we're open to it. Who's to say over the next couple of years, but nothing big. I feel like low-hanging fruit in this situation would be things associated with the new ARG, or some sort of Easter eggs or secrets, maybe even pertaining to Orion, but I wouldn't expect anything even in the size of a smaller DLC-sized update that we've gotten in the past, and certainly not a full expansion like Phantom Liberty. Speaking of Easter eggs and secrets, it seems that Pablo Sasco, while speaking to IGN at GDC 2024, has mentioned that there are still Easter eggs in the base game that have not been found. He says, quote, there's a couple of things that are not found yet. At least we don't know if they've been found because someone could have found them in their home and never shared it and we've never seen it. Now, the latest Easter egg found was from fellow Cyberpunk content creator Ian, so shout out to you. On the roof of Tom's Diner, there's a set of binoculars first made usable in patch 2.1. Panning around, you should see the CDPR's iconic logo, the Rarog, and staring at it for a period of time will reveal a group shot of the CDPR devs, similar to another Easter egg where you can find a secret room that also features CDPR developers. There was also a hidden detail found by Vesna on Twitter after CDPR mentioned that the exact words Phantom Liberty appear in the story. Vesna noticed that the loading screen of the data shard and birds with broken wings was where this could be found. So a cool little detail for you guys to go check out. Speaking about Cyberpunk 2077, CD PROJEKT RED has made a few comments here and there about what they envision with the sequel in Orion. In a recent interview with Aftermath, Pablo Sasco, now Associate Director of Cyberpunk Orion, mentioned that, quote, we want to make sure that the whole DNA is preserved and still in the game, and that the game needs to validate players' choices. Back in January, creative director Igor Straczynski mentioned that 2077 was just a warm-up, so I'm very excited to follow the developments in the years to come, and hopefully you guys are on board like you were in 2018, when we were all on the hype train towards 2077. Now we have multiple trains with The Witcher, Cyberpunk, and Hadar IPs, alongside all the TV series, movies, and comics that are sure to come as well. Cyberpunk 2077 has received a lot of awards in the recent months, with Phantom Liberty winning the Korean Language Game of the Year, Evolving Game from the BAFTA Game Awards, and most recently the Spawnies for Best Shooter of the Year. Truly a special road of redemption for CDPR and a comeback story that you just love to see. Now not only that, but Cyberpunk on Steam now boasts an overwhelmingly positive rating among recent players, which means that 95% of reviews left by players in the last 30 days, which is around 7,000 people, have left positive ones. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about The Witcher here with the Witcher 3 Red Kit, a powerful modding tool now available for the beta. So if you guys are big into modding, well, now you'll have more tools at your disposal to make some truly unique content. The full release has also been announced, so you'll get a chance to go hands-on with it on May 21st. And with all the excellent mods coming out for 2077, there is limitless potential with this new tool. The Witcher Netflix, which will now feature Liam Hemsworth instead of Henry Cavill as Geralt, has been renewed for season 4 and 5, which will be shot back to back and will complete the adaptation of the Sapkowski novels. Bit of a shit show, but hey, hopefully these are half decent. Edgerunners fans, you're gonna love this next update, as Orion Games, the publisher of the Cyberpunk tabletop game that 2077 is based on, is putting out a playable epilogue in mid to late June. The starter kit, which includes a mission called The Jacket, which takes place after the Edgerunners anime finale, will include 7 pre-made characters and will include multiple endings. In the jacket, you'll be recovering some stolen iconic gear for a sentimental cowboy. And the kit comes with the Edgerunners handbook full of world lore, the rulebook, the jacket of course, new lore and backgrounds for David, Lucy, Rebecca, and the rest of the crew, and a bit more. Before we end this episode, do keep your eyes out for a new Cyberpunk 2077 comic known as Kickdown, 4-part miniseries set to launch on July 3rd. The synopsis reads as follows. With her foot on the pedal of the hottest ride in Night City, the daughter of a famed carjacker is out to fix the past. Fire up the engines, street racing action is taking over. With a crowd of gangsters, racers, and criminals, word is spreading fast, and that is all according to plan. Meet new characters from the world of Cyberpunk 2077 as the underbelly of this corrupt world kicks it into 5th gear. Definitely pick that one up if you are interested, and one of the covers is even based on the iconic Akira cover, so if you're a collector, you aren't going to want to miss this. And that is all for now. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, consider liking, subscribing, and all that jazz, and I will see you later for more Cyberpunk, Witcher, and Hadar updates.